Today we are talking about the importance of exercising after an injury. And if you want to always know when I have new videos here, make sure you subscribe below. You can also come follow me on Instagram, Jessica Valant Pilates, for more tips and tutorials. Today we are talking about exercising after an injury or a surgery, and this came up because of my own recent bilateral mastectomy surgery, and I was posting over on Instagram about some of the exercise I was doing after surgery, and I was hearing from people that I was doing too much, that I needed to rest more, and I thought it was a really important topic for us to talk about. So today we're not necessarily talking about how to exercise after an injury or surgery, but we are talking about why it's important to start moving in order to heal. So as you all know, I'm a physical therapist and I've also gone through multiple major surgeries and injuries. So I'm going to talk to you today as a PT and also from my own personal experience. So the first thing to know after an injury or a surgery, very rarely will you be told not to move at all. That is a very rare instruction that you'll get. Typically, you're going to be told to move in some way, shape, or form. So even after my most recent major surgery, I was told to start walking the next day. It is so important to start moving. So keep that in mind. But also, in addition to that, only your doctor really knows what's going on. So if you aren't sure how to move safely or what to do safely, I want you to ask questions. Ask your doctor, ask your surgeon, ask your physical therapist. Find someone virtually that you can meet with. Find a way to figure out what you are allowed to do and aren't allowed to do in a specific period of time. That is so important as you start to move safely after an injury or a surgery. I also want to acknowledge that it isn't always easy. It can feel really hard and scary to start to move after you've experienced pain or after you've had a surgery. Let me tell you what typically happens, and I want to really acknowledge this because I know it is real, all right? So if you're feeling this fear, that's normal. But what happens is we get into a cycle. So we start to be afraid of moving. Either we're afraid of making it worse, we're afraid of being re-injured, we're afraid of needing another surgery, we're afraid of breaking the surgery that was done, or we're afraid of being in pain. Again, all of those valid fears. But we let the fear take over and we stop moving altogether. Then time passes and we realize we need to function in life. We need to go to the bathroom, that's movement. We need to get in and out of the car, that's movement. We have to go to the grocery store. All of those things are movement. So we start to move or we start to exercise and it causes discomfort because we haven't been doing anything. So that discomfort then makes our fear worse, which makes us stop moving and we get into a cycle that we don't get out of. And I have seen clients and patients years after a surgery still in this cycle of fear and wondering when they can start moving again. And that is what I want to break. It is really important that you don't let yourself get into that place. And the best way to get over that fear is to start moving safely so that you feel safe in your body. You start to build those patterns of movement. You start to believe that you can move without pain, and that's what's going to get you forward. So let's talk about the 3 important reasons that you actually need to be moving and or exercising after an injury or a surgery. The first thing is that we are made to move. That is the way our bodies were made. We absolutely were not made to be sedentary. So movement in general can help with every single system in our bodies. It helps with blood flow. It helps with moving all the fluid in our bodies. So that includes blood and lymph. It helps with our heart. It helps with digestion and constipation. That's a really big one after surgery. That's a big reason why surgeons will typically tell you to start walking. It's to help prevent blood clots and it's to help with that digestion and constipation. So that's a big one. Movement helps with our brain. It helps with our mood and our memory and our reaction time. It helps our tendons. It helps our joints. It gets fluid to the joints. Motion really is lotion. That is a saying that we use a lot in physical therapy, and it's true. Motion is lotion. It's going to help those joints. It helps your bones, it helps your muscles, it helps your balance, it helps your posture. It helps everything. And the key really is knowing how to do it safely. So if you find that you are in that place, again, like we mentioned, of fear or not knowing what you can do, you need to go back to either finding an expert to help you, talking to your surgeon, do something to help get you on the right path to get started. Another reason that it's really important to start that safe exercise or movement plan after an injury or a surgery is because it will build up intentionally and purposefully so that when you are allowed to do whatever you want, you're ready for it. So let me give kind of a basic example. So after my major prolapse surgery and hysterectomy, I was told that I couldn't lift 10 pounds for 10 weeks. That was kind of the only restriction I was given, is don't lift 10 pounds at all until 10 weeks after surgery. Then you can start lifting whatever you want. All right. So a lot of times our brains will hear that and say, okay, don't do anything for 10 weeks. And then after 10 weeks, you can do whatever you want. I can tell you as a physical therapist, that makes no sense. And I know doctors tell us those kind of things a lot, but it doesn't make sense to do nothing, and then suddenly be allowed to do whatever you want, because our bodies don't work that way. So my goal at that time, I had a young son. He was 2 or 3 at the time. My goal was to be able to lift him again. And he was maybe 20 pounds at that time. And I knew that I wasn't going to feel safe doing nothing and then suddenly lifting him at 10 weeks. I needed to build my strength up so that I was ready, so that my core and my back and my arms and everything felt strong enough to lift him at 10 weeks. So I started doing some gentle stretching and walking to start with. And then I layered some 1 and 2 pound weights. Then I layered some body weight and some Pilates. Then I went to 5 pounds and started doing some squats and some lunges, so that by the time 10 weeks came and I was allowed to do whatever I wanted to do, I had built up all those layers and I was ready for it. And the same thing is happening right now after my bilateral mastectomy. I started with some body weight exercises almost right away, just to get my blood flowing, to be able to get on and off the toilet, to be able to get in and out of the bath. And then I followed the very clear restrictions from my doctor, but I did it layer by layer by layer. And yes, it was scary sometimes. Yes, I was wondering what was happening. This is a surgery I don't understand. It had a lot of emotion involved with it. But I knew if I wanted to get my goal, and this time actually it's to lift my son again, who's heavier, but I still want to be able to lift him. I knew I had to build it up step by step. So that's what I want you to remember. The first thing is that you have to move. Our bodies are meant to move. We really are built to move. The second thing is you want to do it layer by layer. So for those people who are asking 3 weeks after my surgery, you're doing too much, what are you doing? You need to stop. I knew I was doing it in a smart and intentional and purposeful way to get me where I wanted to go. And that's the key. And the final thing I want to talk about today when it comes to why you want to be moving right away after surgery in that smart and intentional way is that it is going to contribute to your function. So we, again, are meant to move in life, but also we need strength to do it. And you've heard me give all the examples: on and off the toilet, on and off the floor, just functioning day to day. But then let's take it another step. What do you want to do after that? Do you want to travel? Do you want to be able to carry your suitcase independently? Do you want to be able to lift your child like I did? Do you want to be able to climb up the bleachers so you can sit and watch someone in a game, your kids or your grandkids? What do you want to be able to do? Garden, horseback ride, hike, lift your groceries. All of that takes strength. And again, if you're just jumping right to that without doing the steps needed to get there, you could be causing a problem. And this really hit me after my recent surgery. I remember I was told you're allowed to do just about anything, just be careful. Well, I was washing my hair and my arms were exhausted. I mean, I could barely wash my hair. They were so tired. And it really hit me that, why am I being told I can go lift 20 pounds. I can't even wash my hair without being tired. I have to build the steps up to be able to even function and get there. And that's what I want you to remember, is that sitting on the couch in fear of movement isn't going to serve us when we want to function in life and be independent and be strong and reach whatever goals we have. We have to be able to move forward with intention. And again, that means safely and feeling safe in your body, which means knowing what you can and can't do. So maybe you want some instruction from someone else, or maybe it's been a year since surgery and you have been told you can do whatever you want and you're simply afraid. I'm acknowledging that too. I am there with you. I get it. And I'm also here to tell you, you can do it. Find a beginner program. I'll have the link below. I have a 4-week beginner fitness program that takes you step by step through ways to build that strength and get that habit of movement going again. But I promise we are made to move. We are meant to move. Do it safely with intention, and your body will start to feel more like a partner in this life. I will talk to you soon.